I'll call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to convene as Walworth County Plan and Zoning Board. Is there any old business? New business? Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
No second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. I'd like to convene as Walworth County Board of Zoning Adjustment. Is there any old business? New business? Okay, got a motion on the floor. Need a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. I convene as the Board of County Commissioners. I take approval of the agenda.
We have one thing. We're going to need to add the settlement with our class action.
Okay. I'll need a motion to add that in there.
I so move.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor to add the class action suit there. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Just want to do it that way, Jamie, then.
Sure. It's basically, this is the settlement agreement with regard to the action filed by attorneys Leach and Polkup with regard to the jail. All of the commissioners should have a copy. I got this in yesterday afternoon, made copies, and all of you should have it. It's the one that has the cover letter from May Adam Law Firm. And initially, they wanted the $101,000. They reduced their fees to $91,000, of which we are not covered by our insurance carrier, which was discussed at the last meeting also. So that will have to come out of the general funds. There's a couple other things that we're not going to rename the jail as something else and use it for a jail. Everything else is pretty much standard what they would put in this, and there is no real, the jail's been closed. Since we've closed it, we've not used it for anything, and my understanding in speaking with the sheriff that is the current intent, that we're not going to use it for anything. So that would
That's
meet all
not
of their.
saying we couldn't use it for office.
Correct, as long as we don't use it for housing of prisoners, that's the main thing. And in speaking with the sheriff, that's my understanding, his intent also, that it's not to be used for anything that would be related to prisoners.
Then I would take a motion to pay that.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Yes, ma'am.
What budget are you taking this out of?
General.
It'll have to come out of our actual budget though, and you'll have to do a supplement if you don't have the funds available.
Then it'll have to come out of the commissioners. And do a supplement there, right?
So we'll have to advertise for supplement
now or at the end of the year? We supplement that at
Well,
the end of the year?
That's up to you guys if you want to just use contingency at the end of the year. Or cover your budget with contingency, or if you want to do a supplement,
Well, I think we should do supplement.
which will have to be advertised and done at the meeting.
That's how I think it should be.
Okay,
Well, if we're not gonna use the contingency anyplace else, couldn't we just use it at the end of the year? See where we're at and, do it then?
Mhm.
So, I think your motion was to pay it. Basically, we need a motion to sign it and have those funds distributed by the 12th of November.
Well, then still better follow through with that one then.
Yeah, do the pay one and then just do another motion to authorize everyone to sign. Because I think there's signature spots for all the commissioners.
Okay, you got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. And you need one for the next one.
Make a motion.
Yes, Becky.
it has to be paid by the 12th, so it's gonna have to go in today. So it's gonna come out of commissioners' services and fees.
That's where I think it should go.
I just wanna make sure that's where you guys want it.
Okay, and then I need another
For the supplement.
No,
Motion to pay it.
motion to sign
Motion to
it.
authorize everyone to sign it, because all the commissioners have to sign on behalf.
I'll make a motion to, for all the commissioners to sign it.
The original has
There you go.
signature spots for everybody.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Nothing.
Okay, got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Yeah, there's signatures for, not to interrupt, but there's signatures for all the commissioners. We just, in order to save paper, it was all just a whole bunch of signature pages in the back. The main thing that we wanted to give you was the meat and potatoes of the settlement agreement. So, you guys have an executive session, so I'll talk to Eva or Becky and we can get all that signed and all put together so we can get it in the mail. Because all the signatures have to be notarized. So,
Okay, public forum.
Okay, good morning. I just was made aware a couple of days ago by a couple of different people that the county website is an unsecured site, and they were wondering if there was something that could be done to secure that. They said when they go on to check the meeting or check other things, it pops up unsecured. And they were concerned about getting the virus in their computer.
I can check with the association. They're the ones who hired the person that creates the website and maintains it, so.
They said when they check like Brown counties, it comes up secured.
Yeah.
They said Mullet County comes unsecured, so they were just.
I'll talk to the association about it.
Okay, they were just wondering about that, so that's all I've got.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on then. Number 14, consider motion to approve county commission minutes of October 20th, 2020. Have we had a chance to go over those? So I take a motion.
I so moved.
We have a motion on the floor. I need a second.
A second.
I'll take that second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Okay, consider motion to approve county commission minutes of October 22nd, 2020.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Consider motion to approve county commission minutes of October 29th, 2020. I'll take a motion for that.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Consider motion to approve claims to be paid as presented. Has everybody had a chance to go over the claims?
I guess I got a couple of quick things. Josh? You know, on these regional hospital ones, was those on the way to jail, or are they after they was in jail?
It could be both. It could be emergency committals. It could be while they were in custody yet.
Excuse me, I wish one person would leave here. We're sticking to that 10 people in here, so one person just step outside until, we're just gonna have 10 people in here. Okay, go on, Josh.
Cause we got $4,800 worth of stuff, and it's like x-rays and things like that. Is that on the way to jail, or is it after they're in jail? And they're all back from,
Those are in custody, and when they're medicated rated down, that's the best I could get.
okay, but, and they're all after they was in here,
The two bigger ones that you're looking at, I'm assuming, were the ones that were in here.
well, all of them.
Yeah, they were in custody. There might have been one mental hold that was before, but once he was taken there, he's ours. Well, mental hold, so.
Well, depends who the arresting officer was.
I believe they came in by ambulance, and they didn't have criminal charges, just the mental charges, mental hold, which is not criminal.
Okay. I guess the jail's closed now, so you don't have to worry about it
Yeah,
going forward, but.
Yeah, they should
just
be less.
curious.
They should be lessening. I do have a smaller one from 12 County that I gotta work on yet, or the one we
We'll
have.
still have medical bills.
Well, I understand, but are they, like all these was back in
Yeah, but it takes time to get the
May or
medicated rates.
June or something, were back in there, so. I didn't know if they was going to the hospital, if Mobridge arrested them and they was going there first before they got to jail.
Nope, the majority of them, they were in custody, especially with the x-rays and stuff. They were ones that we already had in custody. I stick a couple of bigger ones on there. One was 2, one was 1.
Because we normally don't get bills from people who get medically cleared before they come here. So
Nope.
a lot of times I'll call the ambulance and the ambulance will clear them to come in. But I don't think we get any of those bills.
Yes.
I got one, on the jail that, we got a claim here that, for a Chevy Tahoe. That, I didn't think we approved any of that stuff.
Well, with the closure of the jail and having to transport, with winter coming up, I'm gonna need more secure vehicle and with four-wheel drive capability. So that's why that's in there.
I guess I thought we were looking into the possibility of doing a van.
We will, but I'm not gonna use a van to pick up one person and haul them to medical appointments and stuff like that. Transport van will be utilized for court days when I have mass amounts of people to bring back at once.
But there was nothing in the budget for it, so where are we gonna take it out of?
Yes, Becky?
According to legislative audit, all of the transport expenses should be coming out of the sheriff's budget. So, is that gonna be paid out of the jail budget? Because that's where it's coded to right now.
There isn't anything budgeted for it in either one.
I don't know.
I guess I'm kind of curious, why didn't you bring this up about wanting to buy another vehicle? When we talked about a transport van, but we never talked about anything else. I think I recall you saying that you weren't buying another vehicle this year.
Well, we took it out, but then also we didn't know, I didn't know the jail was closing. So I'm kind of in a predicament there, guys. So I'm doing what I can to make this work. This is all new on my lap also. There's a lot of things at stake here. So I guess I'm gonna need cooperation through this, at least for the first year while we're doing it.
How many vehicles do we currently have?
How many, let me ask you guys this, how many miles do you want me to put on all these cars? We're hitting 130, 140, they're adding up fast.
And I would say that would be about a max, 140, 150.
There's a lot of unexpected stuff right now with this whole transporting thing, so.
What do we got, those 6 vehicles right now?
6. What are you talking about?
6 vehicles.
That's with your 3 sheriff vehicles?
Okay,
That is that with the 3, your 3 sheriff vehicles, the 6?
that would come up to 6, yes.
So basically
What's
we
that?
have
5. Yeah, because we got rid of the 1, so 5.
So basically, we have 2 vehicles to transport?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the mileage on those?
That 130 to 140.
That's a lot.
Just, trying my best.
I move for approval of claims.
I'll second that.
Well, I got a motion on the floor and a second. Any more discussion on that?
So, how are we gonna pay this? We were told that it's not supposed to be paid out of the jail budget.
Sure.
He said all the expenses for transporting have to be paid out of the sheriff's budget, and I forwarded Josh that email that he stated that.
So it's gonna have to be changed because it's coded in for jail.
It would have to come out of a supply or something or other. I understand that was put on the agenda. It's further down, and I did talk to Becky about it because I just wanted to make sure how we were going to do it. I wasn't questioning it. It was just because we'll have to have certain line items when, basically dissolving the jail budget and moving budget dollars over. We'll have to have specific line items, so.
Good, Josh, and I'm gonna comment on on something you commented on. because this is new territory and what's happening right now, but I think, and you said the guy's gotta give a little, then I think you gotta give a little too. Because I mean, you
How's
never, just listen, I'm talking. You never ever said one thing about needing another vehicle here. We talked about, I'm pretty sure, if my memory tells me right, we just talked about this, about 3 weeks ago, about a transport vehicle, and not a thing was ever talked about this.
I had one
So
on
that's
the
what I'm
sheriff's
saying.
side and we took it out.
That's what I'm saying, is then I think you should keep the commission informed too.
I am trying.
Well, we're informed when we've seen it on the claims. That's the only informed that I don't know if you talk to other people, but I talk to you quite regularly.
Yeah, we talked quite a bit, so.
Any more discussion on that?
So we're gonna hold this one up until it's coded in right, or?
That's exactly.
We can just change it. Change where it's quoted. That's not an issue. We'll just put it sheriff supplies instead of jail supplies.
Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Nay. Motion passed. Okay, number 18, executive session per SDCL 1-25-21 regarding a personnel matter. Jamie, are you going far?
No, I'll just be downstairs.
Okay.
I'll just wait out here if you want. That's fine, I'll just wait out here.
Is the camera on? You need a
We
motion.
didn't vote on it yet, did we?
Say nay. Motion passed.
Didn't want her to do half days. They suggested that they do a full day here and then a full day in Campbell County. And so that's how I am scheduling them in person with masks. And I mask just to keep the elderly population, do my part to keep everybody safe. I have done some by phone. So my question would be how do you want me to handle that? Do you want me to go over it? Do you not want me to do it anymore? I think it's a great program. And I can't train, I've been showing Brandy how to do it, but I can't certify her again until next year because they have one training a year and that's it. I've already had one individual that has come and seen me and I've saved them $74,000 just in changing their plan. I mean, to me, that's huge, especially when you're talking about a group of people that are on a limited income. I've helped so far 6 people this year that they qualified for extra help through the Social Security program because their income was so low that they were able to get either all of their premium paid for their drug prescription plan or most of it, and then their drugs go down to $3.60 at the lowest to $8.90 at the highest. So I'm here because I don't want to be here at the end of the year explaining myself and then being in trouble because that budget went over. Questions, thoughts?
I think it's very important to keep doing it. Keep doing that.
Well, I think it's very important to keep doing that, but will you keep doing it yourself, or are you going to have Brandy do it?
As of right now, I've been showing her some ins and outs of the program, but I call down to the state and they only certify and train once a year, and that's usually in October. This year, we had to do everything virtual. So I actually there was 4 2.5-hour videos, and then there was a little quiz after it, but they are unavailable now, and they can't open it up for just one person. So the idea is that hopefully 2 of us will be able to do that next year, because I can't, by the rules of the program, allow her to counsel a client on her own. But I can show her how the program works without giving her clients' names and how we put the information in there and how the program works. And I've used my husband and I and, just thrown together some different prescription lists. So do I think she'll have a problem with it? No, I'm just really pleased with everything that Brandy has shown so far. And of course, I'm still learning in that area as well. I just don't want it to be a surprise or a problem, and I think it's important that you know. And I'm here to do whatever you feel I should be doing. Although I know it falls under Poor Relief, which JB is the head of. He asked, and I talked to him about it, he asked that I come up and I speak with you and give you the information that I have.
I guess to me, there's only one way to find out if you're gonna go over or not.
Continue through.
I guess that's my opinion on it. What's the rest of you guys' opinion?
You through till you run out of hours, you cut it off.
So then you'll be cutting it off probably within a week?
Probably about 2 weeks will be close to the day.
Just cut it off then?
Do that.
I mean, I think it's a great thing. I'm hoping when they always tell me, they always want, well, how much do I owe you? And I said, well, just please let your commissioners know how invaluable you think this program is to you. And I think it is a very valuable program to the elderly. I was waiting to come in here and I wanted to also let you know some of those big bills that you questioned Justin on, Kevin. He did bring them over to me and I did get them double checked and verified. So not only did I verify them, but the state did verify them because they're called the diagnostic related groups, and that's how a hospital bill is.
I was just curious.
No, I know, but I just wanted to let you know.
In jail or after they was in jail?
I
Question.
always check that too when he brings that to me.
Well, why don't you just keep Jamie informed about it, how things are going? You can let us know.
Well, do you want, is it cut off at the time or not? Because basically what you're gonna do is if you're gonna authorize her to go over her time, that's basically Brandy's time because she's working in a different spot because she's not qualified. So I need to know what you're going to do, and if you're not, we'll cut it off when her hours are up, which are probably next week, so.
How long do they have to change?
Till December 7th.
So basically,
Month.
yeah.
It started October 15th, but due to some of the changes on the program, I did see some people that had to call back because there were some plans that were not showing up correctly. And so October 26th, nationwide, they had the program fixed so that we could see those, because you can't compare unless you can see the drug costs. I mean, would you jump on a plan and say, oh, sign me up for that one, but you can't tell me how much it's gonna be and how much my drug costs are gonna be? It's like, no. But, and I just foresee that this could be a lot more than last year just because a lot of the people that are volunteers are the elderly. And they aren't willing to do any in-person, even masked up. They don't want to mess with it on the phone because, I'm older and sometimes I don't hear as well. So, that's the deal there.
Well, in all reality, how many hours are you talking that you think if it's gonna go over, that it could go over? Gotta have some sort of idea.
I'm thinking right now, if it stays like it is, and it doesn't get too much busier, maybe 50 hours. Is it in that budget? As of right now, I would say yes, but we haven't had to spend a lot of money under that budget. We've spent my wages. I believe we've only had one funeral this year that qualified for assistance. I think there was 2 smaller bills.
Financially, it's there.
Financially it's there, but
Hourly,
it's just not in that budget line. I mean, it would be in a different budget line. You know what I'm saying?
Our issue is the hours that she's put in, not the money
I mean,
available.
And if you want them hours to come out of another line in that same budget, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't wanna have to go over the budget and blow it and come back here and explain to you, so I'm trying to be proactive instead of reactive, because I hate reactive, and I love proactive.
Can you do this without overtime then?
Yes, I'm not asking for overtime, but I'm just saying that it'll change that budget on poor relief, that the budget line that was set aside for salaries and insurance and, that upper part of that budget, so
Because poor relief is how many hours?
it is 10 every week, so it's 540, I believe, for the year.
And that does not include all the other stuff you do on poor relief, the medicals and all of that.
That includes everything.
And so what we're saying is she's close to her 540 hours, she'll go over if she continues to do that time. So do you want to authorize her to go over on more hours, which are technically gonna be Brandy's, because Brenda is now in Kathy's slot and Brandy is in Brenda's old slot.
Right, so then I
So-
would be using her hours, and then she would be picking up more of what I'm doing in
So-
Kathy's slot.
Which all would have been alleviated if you wouldn't have been problematic with the 4-H slot, but that's your decision. So now you have this predicament to deal with. If you don't want the taxpayers of Walworth County to get the service, say it. If you want it, then you're gonna have to approve the time. That's it.
I would say it's very valuable to our residents.
Davis,
Yes, I do too.
Marion?
Well, it definitely is valuable, service. To me, they've got it financially in the budget, if we can go from a different angle and pull it out of there, I would say continue it, but, if we can support it that way.
What I'm gonna tell you, Miriam, is right now we can, but I can't tell you that we won't have any medical or any other issues from now until the end of the year. We could all of a sudden have 10 funerals that need to be paid for. We only budget for 3.
You said this goes to the end of our first.
December 7th is the last day.
So we're really not, if she's got, we're really not talking more than about a 2-week period of time from what we have available right now.
It's not a long period of time. Kevin?
Well, I know it's a valuable deal, but why do we budget? Just so we can go over and
We have no problem not doing it. It's your decision on what you want to do. Because we're telling you right now with the numbers, we are going to go over the number of hours that she is authorized. So the question is whether you want to authorize it or not. Again, I said, if you wouldn't have been problematic with the 4-H, this wouldn't have been a problem. Now you've created a problem that you're going to have to address publicly in front of the
we're
taxpayers.
gonna have a problem with 4-H when, irregardless, when they said that we cannot hire that one.
You can hire the 4-H, I can't. So, you chose to advertise it. I had a solution, you didn't want to do it, so now we've got another predicament. So what do you want to do? Do you want to have us cut it off? We'll be more than willing to, because I'm not going to have a budgetary issue that you're going to turn around and cause problems with, like you do with Josh. And if you want the program to be serviced, that's fine, we'll service it, but I'm not going to be sitting here like I've been on, what do you do with this person because you don't like who I've appointed to fill my positions? So,
That has nothing to do with it.
yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. You have no idea, you weren't in the meeting.
I know I wasn't, that's right. I wasn't in there, so.
As commission, we gotta decide if that's what we wanna do, is give her the extra hours or not. Maybe it's in that budget or maybe not.
Always know that budget it's a roll of the dice. One year we had $100,000 in medical, and that was the first year that we did it, and we lost those 2 cases actually in civil court, and the judge ordered that we had to pay. And it was definitely not in the budget for that, The hope is always to stay ahead and not have that. But the hard thing about that budget is you do your best. You look at, you keep track of what's going on, and you look at what you have coming in for people asking for, hospitals asking for assistance. And, you know, you do the homework so that you know, this one I know we could deny because of that. Well, we can deny all we want too, but that doesn't mean if they decide to take it to court that we'll win, because the two that we lost, we denied them 3 times. And the attorney before Jamie denied them twice. And we went to court and paid. So that budget it's hard to predict. But I think between Jamie and I, we've done a really good job of keeping that budget in its space, and we've done well where we budgeted $30,000 for medical assistance, and we used 2, and it's gone back into the general fund.
So what this is about, someone's gotta make a motion to allow her to go over if need be.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
I got a motion on the floor and a second. Any more discussion on that?
Can someone please tell me what the motion is?
Allowing her to, if need be, go up to 50 hours over on her hourly wage.
Who? Or the budget?
Poor relief. It's in the poor relief.
This is in poor
The
relief.
poor relief budget, right?
Hourly, it's basically, I think the money's there, it's just that she's gonna go over on hours.
Because
So
I'm
there's,
allotted,
instead of 540 hours, it's up to 590 hours then.
yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion passed. Thanks, Linda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to be a problem child.
Consider a motion for abatement of record 2442.
Hi, we have an abatement for record number 2442. The situation on this one was, it was a piece of property that was just a little bit less than 20 acres, although it was purchased in 2012. So when it was purchased, it was non-ag. It was purchased by people who owned quite a bit of ag land, and it could have gone to ag, didn't. It was finally, the taxpayer finally noticed that those taxes were quite a bit higher than the surrounding ag acres. They're using it as an ag property. So the abatement is for $218. Actually, we shouldn't call it abatement. She paid the taxes, it's going to be a refund of $218.50. That difference is the difference between the ag mill levy and the non-ag mill levy on that value.
So now it's non-ag.
No, it's ag, yes. It will be, I've changed it in my system, it will be ag from now on. This is for the 2019 pay 20 taxes, which she paid. That's why it's a refund. She paid them before the end of October.
I will take a motion for that.
I so move.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
A second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. 22, surplus 2 computers for state's attorney's office to be destroyed.
We just have 2 that are old and they need to be surplus in order to get rid of them. An old Dell and an old HP.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Number 23.
Jesse's not available any longer.
So if you guys have questions, you'll have to address that later. There was an 8% increase.
And everything else would be staying the same?
This wasn't no shocker. Isn't that about what it was last year?
I think it was 6,
6.
but then the few years before that, it was way higher.
I would move to authorize the auditor to sign that.
I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll say.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that?
Is there any way we can get him to get us this when we're doing the budget?
No, he doesn't get it then. It comes from Walmart.
Can we get with Walmart to see if they could push it up a little bit?
They don't get it to anybody.
It's been going on for years. Kevin.
You sure help to set the budget.
What did we figure on the budget? 8 or 10, wasn't it?
What was our final figure?
I think it was 8.
Yeah, because I think he gave us he thought, so I think we did do 8.
Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Consider motion to approve the Beverage Country Club alcoholic beverage renewal. Take a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Is Gary still out there?
Yeah.
Is he all right to do Gary first? I'm sure he's got places to go. We're gonna move Gary.
Thanks for sliding me in, there are a lot of stuff to do, so. We need to sign this striping agreement with the state of South Dakota for the work that's already completed.
Okay, I'll need a motion for that. Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
And consider a cost proposal for KLJ Engineering for engineering survey of the area involved with D3WM. If you remember the history of that the proposed grade raise was not wanted. And we brought in a consulting firm to do a hydrology study. It kind of got waived on that with, in light of the need for hydrology study on the entire Blue Blanket Lake area due to potential flooding of residences. And now we're back. The original approved contract price with KLJ was $14,800. There was $1,000 it didn't cost $14,800. I think they said there was $1,000 left in the original contract. Now in light of one of the downgrading red property landowners, they still are committed to engineering services in the event we put a culvert across the Sitka Road, Blue Blanket Road, which is 300th Avenue. They want to be assured that there will be no pooling of water on their property. I could do the survey myself, but they're demanding engineered services.
So is that where the 1,000 is gonna go then?
And that 1,000 that we had remaining in the original contract will be used on this, and the adjusted agreement amount will go from $14,800 to $18,000.
About 2,500 to do that.
Yes.
Just to put that culvert in there? I mean,
Basically, it's the engineer determine the elevation of the culvert and determine whether the drainage will occur downstream from where the culvert is placed, and they will be surveying the equalizer pipe elevation north and south across the road by West Moser's place, and it's basically a topo survey.
So it would cover pretty much the whole lake then?
No, just
Well,
D3WM, that slew by West Moser's, that was the original,
oh, just that little one up there.
no, straight east of the house.
Yeah.
just east of his house. It currently came out of water, and we placed some pit run material in based on some concerns from the landowners that the road wouldn't hold up to the truck traffic that was starting to use it, and we did that.
Well, I thought we had already gone over this once about not putting that culvert in, the one you're talking about, for the simple fact is running that water and flooding somebody else's land.
Isn't that what the deal is though, to find out if it's going to pool or?
No, I'm talking about.
By placement of a drainage structure across Sitka Road, it would be a strategic elevation placement that for example, the survey would indicate east and west road elevation on a profile. From there, it would determine the water will most likely go over the road at this elevation, and that elevation would be the target elevation for a drainage culvert to control the excess waters. There's factors that there was some activity taken to mow the area out on the east side of the road, the receiving waters, and we originally did a survey in-house and determined that there is flow away, but other factors such as the right-of-way elevation, the lake is below the elevation at the right-of-way, so that elevation really delegates, is it worth putting a pipe in or not, because the water, when it recedes so far, won't even get to the pipe.
This is just basically a pipe to control water from going over that road.
Yes, and there
That's
is
the only
no
thing it's
pipe.
going to do.
And then that's a factor. In general, that isn't the only reason. It would be satisfaction of the down gradient people that that we have provided you what your demands are, i.e. an engineered survey. And then the action can be taken to go across the road with another pipe if they're in agreement. I was never in favor of putting a pipe across the Blue Blanket Road for the simple fact that we are diverting water from a natural water body, whether it's a slough or whatever, and diverting it where it's not intended to go. The debate was that there should have been a pipe in there when the road was constructed, but that isn't up for me to determine.
Well, I think that was one of the concerns, of the original concerns on it was before the road was there, that was the natural drainage route, and that never had pulled water until we put the whole road in there.
I would agree.
So that's where I think they were talking, they should have had a culvert in there and then would have got rid of it.
But then, where this pipe is gonna go, it has a potential to go on the other side of the road and pool water over there. I've been there.
That's why they're doing
Am I
this
correct?
study.
And that's why downstream receiving property owners want an engineered survey to verify that.
Do you need a motion on this, or?
Yes, we need a motion.
I'd make a motion to allow the survey.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
I got a second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion passed.
I have a utility easement with the Java Fire District. They had sewer problems. They relocated to enter the Java sewer system, and that was, this grants them permission to put the sewer line under the road and connect to the main line. There's conditions. It was discussed with the Java Fire District that due to seasonal conditions, they had to block out or take some asphalt off the road in order to link to the sewer line. I allowed them to leave it as gravel this year. The conditions are next year when it's more seasonal. The top 2 inches of the gravel comes out and the asphalt comes back in to get back to the asphalt, and that was agreed, and so.
Need a motion for that?
I so moved.
We got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
A second.
Got a second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
The next item is a mere technicality. I'd like you to list some tires as surplus. And as intended on the agenda, they'll either be disposed if they're beyond repair or use. They could be exchanged for a casing, for a new placement, or it could be an outright sale. It's at our discretion.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor and a second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
That's that discussed, the signature, that's that failed date. And the last item, we received a resignation from Marty Hook, effective October 24th. He worked, are we at liberty to talk about this? He worked the week following the 24th, so you have a determination to be made there that that how his last day of work would have been on the 29th, I believe. Want to take over?
Just how do you want to pay him for those extra 5 days?
Can we pay him in contract labor?
That's a decision you guys have to make. You have to pay him because he was still working.
Paying what he was getting paid.
My recommendation is such that, even though the resignation was effective the 24th, and since he worked the week after, that he ought to be compensated at his normal $23 rate as long as there's a separation.
I agree. Jim?
Yes.
Couldn't have came at a worse time. That's gonna put me on a grader Friday and Saturday, plating gravel roads in that region.
Are you advertising for?
I don't think I have to fill a vacancy.
You're gonna have to advertise for a blade operator because you're a department head, not an elected official.
Okay? Yes, Kevin. I will be advertising. Closing statement to get on to your other business. Maybe I shouldn't say this. I won't say it. But I'll be thinking it, so. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Jim, we gotta do anything with the decision?
You guys pretty much all agreed that that's what you want to do, and so.
Josh?
I don't think we need a motion, do we, Becky?
Sign it?
I'm gonna, you're gonna take it with you?
I'll take it with you. And that DOT thing too.
You had to sign the agreement. You have it for him to sign, right?
It's up to them.
Okay.
Yes, Josh?
Good morning. Everybody get that inventory list? I emailed it out to the ones that I could. And then we send supplied copies for up here. Commissioner Hout brought them up. Should be a bundle that there, Scott. And from, toward the top up by the mic. That clip portion. Oh. That's a full inventory of the jail.
Justin, do you guys have whatever's being passed out here over there?
Yes, sir. I got one.
I need a
Yes,
copy
I'll
of
get her
everything
one.
as well. I need a copy of everything as well.
Make a copy.
Here's yours. put that with the direction in which we're going, which is unknown right now. I would like to, have you guys consider surplusing these items and starting to deplete our inventory over there. There is a portion of it that is food. I don't know how you guys want to handle that. So pay close attention to that part. It is dry goods and stuff that's in the freezer yet. We cannot, like, take it to a school or something like that. I don't know if the people that are here today, in the audience, or you guys would know, the thrift store take stuff like that, the dry goods, and for people to utilize.
I think they do.
But that's also an option.
I've seen bread in there.
Food bank that probably.
And we do have bread that's frozen, that was moved to the freezer. So, and I don't know if we could or couldn't on that avenue. Freezers, everything's inventory.
I would check with senior citizen centers and see if a food bank would be.
On both items, Kevin, both dry and.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's one of those entities, do you want a price on it, or what do you want to do with it? Or are you just donating it?
I would suggest to donate this to if the senior citizens can use it, to donate the dry and the other stuff to the senior citizens.
Okay.
That or the thrift store, whichever. Or you want a senior citizens only?
I guess I would rather have it go to the senior citizens right away, if they can take it.
Secondary option, thrift store. Are you guys okay with that? I agree with Mr. Schwalmer on that. If we can do it, take it to the senior citizen center. On that end of it. And if they can't, thrift store next. I would say both nutrition sites.
A lot of this canned stuff wouldn't, why couldn't you give that to the nursing home?
I don't know whether they can or can't. I don't know how that works on that side. I know the school can't.
I would check with,
the care center also.
the care center, see if they could use any of it.
Okay.
Cause any of this canned stuff that's not open, they should be able to use. They should be able to use it.
And I just put the list together, you guys. I mean, if you guys want certain prices on certain things in here, let me know. I can add it if for things that would get sold out. Otherwise.
Yes, Becky.
Would we have to, since there's so many items, have a public auction of sort or something, or are you guys gonna? 'Cause otherwise, you're gonna have 3 people set prices on all of the items.
We can do it that way if you so choose. The food items.
Donated, they have to have prices.
I'm talking about the other stuff, not the food.
The other things. And that was gonna be a question of mine, was being that it is a large list, you guys prefer to do an auction type deal. I'm not gonna run it. Sorry, just not gonna.
I guess my opinion would be, on some of this other stuff, would be to hold on to it until we find out what's gonna happen with this other jail. Maybe we could use some of the stuff. If we would get the other one going, might be able to use some of it over there.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to get the list and stuff in front of you guys, so you guys are looking at it. You don't have to.
So Kevin, if that would happen, would Walworth County's portion of the payment be reduced, or how would you handle that?
Probably. That would be up to the board to decide that, but I would foresee them getting to that. Maybe if we donated some of this, that would be part of our payment.
Okay.
So I guess that's.
We got a long ways to go before we're to that point, so.
Anything else on the inventory thing? I think we gotta decide what we wanna do with the food portion. But this, other stuff, the other items that are not food related, kept at bay until we decide, or you guys decide what's going on. Okay, and if you wanna have an auction or do it item by item, like Becky said, then we'd have to have 3 people put prices on stuff. So.
Okay.
But anyway, you have the list. That's the full list of the inventory in the jail. Okay? Next item, Mr. Chairman, is resignation of Kyle Brown effective 10/22 of 2020. I don't need no motion or anything on that. That was just an informative item. Next item, I'd like to also take this time also and present a plaque to Deputy Youngworth for his 5 years of dedication. It's much appreciated by myself and my office. He has also took the vacant position within the sheriff's office that was vacated due to the resignation. Thank you very much. That was part of that line item. His wage will be set at $20.85 an hour, effective 10/27/2020.
And a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor and a second. Any more discussion on that?
I guess the only thing I've got a question on is the $20.85 an hour. Is that where that falls in line with that position
Correct.
at this time?
Correct.
Experience?
Correct.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Okay.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Opportunity, the transport vehicles, that was put on there for that reason. We talked about obviously the one earlier. They're all getting high mileage. I'm gonna start, we gotta pay close attention to that. Transport vehicles, I want them, to be safe vehicles and whatnot. I don't wanna run 200,000 mile vehicles down the road. I don't think you guys want that either. So that's the whole idea of what I'm trying to do here. As far as transport and having the safe vehicles for doing so.
I guess I got one question for you guys. These transport vehicles, are they gonna be stationed here and people come over here to get them, or is every transport officer?
No,
get one
they're
to
here.
go
Kevin.
home?
They're kept here. They're not issued to each individual person, no.
That's where we're getting some miles on, some is by personal vehicles, basically.
Moving on, Mr. Chairman, if there isn't anything else.
Yep.
Thank you. Had some discussion with Kevin yesterday. Had a short meeting with him for about 20 minutes. Update with the South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance and findings. with Steve Campbell, Risk Management Associate, that works with our insurance. We went through a whole itemized list with him of what we're doing as far as training, the transportation, how we're handling it, manpower, and everything seemed to check out good. As far as the written approval or the written portion that Kevin brought up to me yesterday, that was referred. That Steve Campbell he's a risk management associate for the insurance company. He's not an attorney. He referred it back to our state's attorney. So therefore, is what I handed out, Mr. Chairman. This document is from Mr. Hare on the transportation and legalities behind it. And also it also ties into the next item, that Attorney General opinion, Scott. So. And I guess I'll just start with that. This is the way I take it. Everybody's a taxpayer. They pay taxes. And I gave this scenario to Kevin yesterday, and we had a good discussion yesterday. So that's just my take on it. I understand you guys have your own opinions, which we're all entitled to, but I guess I already have to have a transport team in place. So I would like to continue to use that. That's my intention, is to continue to use that. It was also one of the things that was recommended by the Risk Management Associate was the Memorandum of Understanding, MOUs, and those were already signed by me with the agencies. That was asked for also. So we're doing things in compliance with our insurance. These are things that they're asking for and recommending during this process. But getting back to what I was saying before, everybody pays taxes. Everybody's a voter in this county that votes for everybody and for changes within the county. But I guess, yes, the Attorney General's opinion is there. Again, I don't know the grounds or what happened with that, the background on it. But at this point in time, I still need a transport team. We're handling it right now. We've had emergency committals come up 3 in one day. We had vehicles going 3 different directions. So 1 to North, Rapid City, and then Yankton. So, and we just did another one separately that had to go from 2 North on to Yankton. So I mean, it's different things, and those aren't even court related yet, or arrests. The Attorney General's opinion is what it is. It's an opinion, and that opinion is what, if we're running into predicaments, the Highway Patrol to drive and take that patrolman out of this area for 3 hours and 20 minutes one way, so 6 hours and 40 minutes one way for an arrest. I don't want to see that depleted and not have those people not work this area. You know what I mean? Same thing with Mulbridge PD. They're strapped with personnel. I depleted personnel because we closed the jail. And we went with a standard 6 people, which we have right now with 2 part-times. And the 2 part-timers, they do have other jobs, but we got to work through that. So, but that's my take on it. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. This is what we put into place, and we handle it through our insurance and risk management, which is for our insurance. The only written findings that they were going to do, that Mr. Steve Campbell, were going to be back to the insurance company the actual opinion and legal opinion was turned back, like I said, referred back to the state's attorney, which is this document here.
I have a whole different opinion on this, but I don't know if you want me to get into it now or go through the rest of these, but. So what do you want to do with Mobridge, being we offered to have them as a transport team? You want to rescind that? So that they're not even.
That's up to that board. I wasn't part of that.
You was part of it when we went over and talked to Mobridge about it.
No, that part I was, Kevin, but as far as voting, I don't have, I mean, that's part of this board. I mean, if you guys vote to go that way, I mean, I still need to do what I need to do and I still need my people, but I just don't, for us to pay that 300, that new number that they came up with because of the Roberts County transport time. I think it was roughly $315 or $318. Heather came $318,000 that they came up with. We're gonna pay that to the city when I'm, when I'm already doing quite a bit of it.
Okay, my opinion. According to the letter of the law and the Attorney General's opinion, it states right in there. And I know this is an opinion, but I know we talked to Marty Yackley before on when this jail issue came up. And it says right in here, it is the responsibility of the arresting officer to get him to the jail, contracted jail of choice. When I talked to Marty Yackley about it, he said, yes, that's his opinion and that's what it should be followed. But I guess we don't have to abide by that. We're only one more lawsuit away from being fined again. My suggestion is, if we're gonna, why is it the county's responsibility to transport everybody in the county? If it's the arresting agency's responsibility to get them to that jail, why does it fall under Walworth County taxpayers when there's a police, organized police division in Mobridge that they're paying for? If they're making the arrest, it should be up to them to take them to the jail. If they got a mental hold and they're holding them in the hospital, why is it Walworth County's responsibility to go sit with them over there? Should be a police officer from Mobridge. That's why we're trying to get a contract with Mobridge, being it should be their responsibility. We'll help them out. Now, if we're gonna do this and transport for everybody, as long as everybody's in agreement that it's legal to do, then I think we should be getting paid from these other agencies to do it. If we're willing to pay them to do it, why aren't they paying us to do it? Why aren't we getting paid from the highway patrol if they make an arrest for a DUI? Why is it our responsibility to pay for the gas, the manpower, the insurance, everything else to transport to jail?
Yes, Jamie.
The actual statute states that the arresting officer shall take them to the committing magistrate. We don't have committing magistrates anymore and haven't had them since I've been practicing law. Therein lies the whole issue of what that means. And again, it's an opinion. It doesn't say in there that the arresting officer shall take them to jail. It says it shall take them to the committing magistrate to basically have bond set or to determine the holding issues. I know back in the 70s and 80s, I think there were local magistrates that would do that. Some of them were clerks of courts. That's the reason why there is no specific answer, because it doesn't say specifically in there, the arresting officer shall take them to the jail. It says take them to the committing magistrate, and we don't do that anymore. That's why it's a 30-plus-year-old Attorney General's opinion, and again, it's just an opinion, just like my opinion is just an opinion.
So Josh, I got a question. It's been in my mind for a long time, but I'm just gonna use Potter County for example. What do the highway patrol down in that Potter County, what do they do when they arrest somebody down there? I'm gonna say down by Gettysburg. What do they do? I mean, I'm just curious what happens. Where do they go with their guy that they arrest? Do they
To the
take
courthouse.
him? And then the
They process bond and then.
Potter County Sheriff takes them from the courthouse then?
Correct. If they're jailed.
I guess my other question would be, all these other counties are doing it with 4 people total for their whole law enforcement. Now we got 3 full-time deputies, 2 part-time deputies, and 6 transports. But everybody else can do it with a total of 3 to 4 deputies.
There's 2 other issues with that. You have the arrestee issue, which is the one issue. The other one is the people that are brought into this county or delivered to the hospital by ambulance that then become a ward of our county due to the fact that we have a hospital. That's the mental health holds and things like that. Some come from in-county, some come from out-of-county. That's a whole nother issue that you need to also address. How are those people going to be transported, et cetera.
Sheriff, when we talked the last time, have you made any headway with receiving dollars or looking at getting dollars from these other agencies that we're transporting for? Because I know at one point in time when you made the comment that you said that it's the arresting agency's responsibility to take them to the jail. But if we're going to transport all these people, are we not going to get reimbursed for some of this, or is it just the Walworth County taxpayer is just going to absorb all this?
So is my transport team going away, or what's going on? Is that what the intention is here, or?
We're trying to decide this. This is what the decision is.
One thing is, I don't think that the highway patrol will pay a bill for arresting people in our county for providing a service to us. So that's one issue. I would assume they're not going to pay. So then that next issue is, do you want to have a whole nother issue with the highway patrol not being here? And I don't know how to address that.
We do have to have a working relationship with these individuals in the police department. We've done a lot of things to make that even better through the years with Woodbridge Police Department and whatnot, and other agencies. We're not transporting other counties. I'm not sure if that's what you were asking about.
Well, no, I was asking.
Locals, no, I mean, I haven't done anything with that. The only thing that I researched was the thing that was brought up to me by a couple other counties, if we had the manpower, but that's not even happening, so that's not even
Because based on your comment, if that's the case, and we don't transport those people from Mulberry, what's Mulberry Police Department going to do?
I guess,
I mean, that's going to be a huge burden on the Mulberry Police Department, which is no different than it is on us, but that's why I'm wondering.
But if
they have a different tax avenue than we have as a county. But, I feel like it's gotta be some responsibility on the city of Mobridge's part to help cover some of the expenses.
I guess I work for everybody, is how I look at it. So I'm gonna do my job the way I need to, I guess, but I'm asking for cooperation from the board on this. I mean, we're working with other agencies that are helping and assisting, people in this county, and the cities, within the city of Mobridge. We assist them all the time with stuff, and that's still gonna continue to happen. I mean, I think this just needs to occur, and they are taxpayers, and they pay property taxes also. Like I said, they're registered voters, and they vote for stuff. They vote for me, and I work for everybody, whether, it doesn't matter who it is.
I got a question since Jamie talked about the highway patrol. You pick somebody up out on the highway, what does Walworth County get out of that fine? Zero, don't they?
Correct.
Even when I was on the city council, I had a very hard problem with that. And I still got a hard problem with that. I don't believe for a second that we should have guys out there patrolling that state highway and not get 1 red cent when they pick up somebody. It's not right. State of South Dakota just gets by freely. It's not right. How do you get dollars from them? You're doing their job.
Through the grants and stuff that I apply for, if they're available.
If somebody can just answer that.
I don't think we want to eliminate the highway patrol.
I didn't say anything about that.
But they're providing, at least my view is they're providing a service for us to enforce the laws on the state highways. And then they also provide backup to our local law enforcement. And I would assume that's how they look at where the fine dollars go. I don't know exactly what percentages go where, but yeah.
Some goes to school, doesn't it?
I can't say for sure what percentage goes where. I don't know. I think some of it does, but again, without looking at where the breakdown of the fines are and stuff. They also do our fatality investigations for us, which is something we don't have to do. And other services where they have actual experts that do a lot of things for this county that we don't have the experts to do, somewhat along with the Division of Criminal Investigation. They have specific people that come in and provide aid. Again, and they all have budgets that they need to pay for also.
I guess I've done what I can with it as far as the insurance side of it, Mr. Chairman. I think the due diligence is done, as far as what we've had and what is required from them and what they asked me to do, or us. Justin was part of that conversation, so. Next item, the temporary holding. I was looking at some court days and other stuff that may be needed. Obviously, the least expensive route is renovation of the old garage over here. And were you talking with Mr. Hayes about the plumbing issue? Scott? Okay, I kind of thought so. Did you guys come up with a solution, or?
Well, what he came up with is it would be coming into the women's bathroom downstairs. have to come from the outside there and go through that wall over.
Okay.
But I think he's probably not taken into consideration. My guess is that you'd be touching in the footings in and on this building. I'm not getting, I'm gonna take a wild guess, but I'm gonna guess the footings under this thing are probably about 3 foot thick. So I sure as hell don't know how he's gonna ever get through 3 foot. I don't think the core bit's gonna go through there. He said the guy would have to put up some sort of protection from the cold.
Correct.
He sees that that's the only place to come. You have to pull out the one, in the one stall of the women's bathroom, and take that wall part back there to come in there. That's the only place he can see to come through.
The other two quotes were brand new structures, you guys. It was anywhere from 217 to 300,000. And with bathrooms and stuff in it, but that's new structures, okay? This is gonna be with a bathroom, roughly 20,000 to renovate that for holding during court days and stuff. And the whole idea was to try and get bathroom facility in there instead of bringing them in through the courthouse and having them use the two public ones. I mean, because that's my only option right now, but there is nothing in this courthouse that I can utilize for holding. We talked about, which is the next line item, renovation of the jail, the old jail that is shut down into sheriff's offices, not a jail. Won't be any holding in there, so I want to make that clear. To free up this office down here, which me and Scott also talked about, but I don't know how much room I'm gonna have. I mean, do we want to do that in the courthouse like that? And then, I mean, you're still utilizing the public restrooms, and I think we're gonna run into issues with the employees and the public coming in and out and wanting to use those facilities when then there's an inmate in there. So that's what I've come up with so far. Like I said, this is a huge little bomb, for less of a lack of a better term, dropped in my lap here. So I'm trying to come up with ideas that really try and get this to work till we decide what we're doing. And that's the least expensive way so far.
Jim was saying just trying to utilize stuff out of the jail is what he was thinking.
Yes, as far as the fixtures and stuff, Scott, yes. And he did talk to me about that, yes. We could move some of the cameras in there, the toilet, the fixtures that would go into the bathroom. And those are combination units, you guys. I don't know how many of you are familiar with them, stainless steel.
That's not an option to go out of there and into the old jail for the sewer?
No, the sewer, you mean like try to go through one building to the other?
From the garage out and into the old jail instead of versus trying to bore through the footings of this building?
I don't know really where it's at. If it's underneath the old jail there, I don't know if it's.
The main water supply that runs over, it runs right under the parking lot from the back side of the fuel barrel. And then right where that little housing that we covered up by the generator, and it runs north and south. That's water.
For the new part of the jail there, I know where that one's at. That one comes out. Oh, it's pretty close to the boulevard. That's where that one's at.
So that's what I have figured out for holding. I don't know what you guys are thinking. That, like I said, least inexpensive way to get us by until we know what we're doing.
I guess the Jim guy would have to check to see what's.
I just
I don't have any idea.
I don't look for this to be permanent for the rest of our life, but temporary to come out and tie into the sewer in the old building. Rather than trying to come to the footings into this facility.
I don't know, Dwayne, do you know, is there a stack underneath there you can see underneath the old part?
Under the old part, there is a small, no walls or nothing, but there is a.
Crawl space of some sort?
Yeah, with an out.
But I mean, does it show a sewer stack?
I know
I think I looked in there before, but
the water line came in there because when I went calling in water conditioning, I put a filter in there. So there was a pit down there for the water line.
Seems to me that Tommy or somebody sent us pictures from underneath there one time when I first come on.
Well, the lines are really, the water line anyway, is really brown.
the water lines, I don't think it was that big of an
Yeah.
issue.
He wasn't sure he wanted to tackle that.
But anyway,
I guess, ask Jim, I guess I'll ask if Jim wants to see us.
Are we gonna run into issues? I mean, this is maybe a little questionable question, but are we gonna run into issues going into that old jail when we just signed the contract for a deal that we're not going to use that jail for anything?
we signed a contract saying we're not gonna use it for holding, we didn't, it doesn't.
But
We can't.
I understand that, but if we're gonna go into that building and use any part of that for making a holding deal, are we going to have issues with that? I think we were just throwing up a red flag here if we try
If
going
you
in
use
there.
any portion of that jail structure as part of a holding facility, I think you're going to have an issue with the.
So then
I mean, I'm just, I'm talking the sewer, but.
I don't know if
I don't know what they can complain about, if we come out of the garage and go over under that building with the sewer,
I don't
that
think,
isn't holding any inmates in there.
I would think that the sewer is not considered part of it, but again, as long as we don't use that building is the main, when I spoke with Mr. Abraham yesterday, or not yesterday, but a couple days ago, the main concern is that we don't use that facility in its current state as a jail, detention center, temporary holding facility, or anything like that, is basically what they're concerned with.
Jim, I think why Hayes was thinking of that route is because of the distance and not having to bust up all this cement where you just have this little bit. Because how I understood it, he was thinking of the bathroom would be in the southeast. I think that's why he was looking at it that way.
I was just wondering if
Yeah.
it was, and I don't have any idea, I just wanted it to be easier to go over and tie into the sewer on the old part rather than come through the footings of this facility. That would be a question for him, but
Yeah, there's no question it's there. But to me, I guess the first thing you guys should do is look underneath there and see what we've got there. And then I think the next question would be is to ask Doug if there is something there, Jamie. But I think we should first, look to see if maybe we're wasting our breath. Okay, Josh?
I guess the rest of that, Kevin put on.
After the renovation of the old jail and the sheriff's office.
I already talked about that, but that was part of this, but that's depending on what, that's depending on what we do. If you guys were to utilize this down here as holding and then use the two public restrooms, I would have to move out and go somewhere. That's where that came in. I don't have numbers on renovation of that thing for office, but that's where that came from. It depends on which route we go with the garage, the attached garage to the courthouse, not that building.
Jamie, I guess I got a question for you. What would it be be not a good idea? What if the prisoners would just sit in the courthouse? That's a no? I'm just asking.
First of all, you're going to have the issue with the public restrooms.
Okay.
There's a safety issue and a contraband issue with regard to the restrooms. If we house them somewhere in the building, it can't be on the third floor, because I would assume the judge is not going to agree to, or the incoming judge, whoever that judge is going to be, is going to agree to allow them to sit in the courtroom for 4 or 5 hours. Plus, there's also hearings that are closed to the public. Juveniles and abuse and neglects are not open to the public, so those prisoners couldn't sit in the courtroom. The main thing is the security of the restrooms. Number one, for, like I said, safety issues and contraband issues, and mixing with the general public and the staff. I think you would probably want, if you're gonna keep them here most of the day, you're gonna wanna have separate restrooms for them to go into.
Security attainment where someone's watching them, they're gonna have to
And
watch
to make
anyway,
sure that contraband cannot be placed into that secured area a day before, day of, or whatever. Or because you really don't want the general public and a prisoner mixing while they're in custody. That's just something that you don't want to do. Or a building employee, you definitely want to have a home facility. Then again, now you're going to, because Mr. Abraham kind of brought that up, what we use as a holding facility is much more lax than what we are required to have for a jail. So when Mr. Abraham spoke to the attorneys on the other end, ideally it would have been better for long-term uses, temporarily use the portion of the jail for temporary housing while they're coming to court. That way they would have an open room, they would have controlled restrooms, they would have the ability to eat and things like that, rather than have them sit on a van until they come to court. But us placing them in a van for the time coming to court, and speaking with Mr. Abraham, is probably within the rules. What we have to provide while we're temporarily detaining them for court and things like that, much more limited, or not much more limited, or much more generous. We can be pretty vague on that, as long as we're doing it that route, rather than someone who's in custody. So you could probably put them somewhere in the courthouse. You just want to make sure that they're watched. And how you're going to deal with eating and restrooms.
Upstairs.
And you don't want to house them. I don't think that would fly with this judge or the current judge of housing them on the third floor.
Okay. Yes, but
I'm just curious, we house prisoners from multiple counties. Do you know how they handle it when they have to take them to court?
Well, number one, they don't have the large numbers that we do. I mean, with our numbers being down, we've been watching them out here at our table and doing the best we can. But we're getting as close as we can back with the transport to the court time. It's been 1 or 2 individuals, 3, 1, depending if they're bonding out or not. We've had more in custody than that, but they've bonded out before the court date. They're sitting in the car maybe 15, 20 minutes. And if it's relatively short time frame before court, we're watching them upstairs. They're guarded, but it's one person. And those restrooms are used for that purpose up there because we have to. That's the only restrooms. They have first floor and third for restrooms, so those bathrooms are used. But like I said, I think we're gonna public and everybody use these down here a lot more often. Did that answer your question? Kind of, sort of.
I just thought, like Corson County, they usually have a lot of people over here. I just wondered how they handle it.
They would come and get them as close, and they're getting back as close as they can to their court time, and then they're sitting with them in the courtroom. But it's not 8 hours or longer You know what I mean, to get them, that they're gonna be sitting there. And I don't know if holding them on a bus, taking them on and off, and, things like that.
And we can actually do that. It's not, when I talked to Doug Abraham, it's like, the bus issue is probably one of the best ideas since they said no to using the jail as a holding facility. It will probably be worse on the inmates and worse on the staff, but we're within the rules, if you want to use that term, for how we can transport and house them while they're waiting to go to court, since we cannot use the jail as a holding facility. The other thing is we haul them over to Beverage and see if Beverage will let us use their holding cells for 4 or 5 hours if someone has to wait a while to get to court. If we have 2 or 3 prisoners that we're picking up from Roberts County, taking to court here, and if one doesn't have court for 3 or 4 hours, sit them over there, and Beverage is another option. That's kind of, we're all looking at what are the options available
But
for the time being.
as of right now, I think that is our best option if we can get the plumbing in the bathroom thing situated over there.
I agree.
Next item?
I think we talked about most of these other ones already. Mary, you wanna switch to getting this canvas done so you can get out of here?
I'd like to, so we're supposed to meet at 11:30, but.
Are you,
This is gonna take.
You wanna do that first?
How long is the rest of it gonna take?
Well, we just need to cancel that other resolution for the jail staff. Is that the right number, Becky?
Yep.
2020-4? I'll make a motion to cancel that resolution, and there's no jail staff anymore.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Has there even been a resolution has been submitted or anything like that, or?
That was the one where it says how many deputies he has, how many correction officers. But he still has deputies, so I don't know, is that the proper way to handle that?
You're going to
Isn't
have
that two different resolutions though?
I don't think so. You only had one resolution, didn't you, Joe?
I did it all under one.
Yeah,
I thought it was two separate ones.
no.
Did it all under one, so you'd have to amend it and.
So it will need to be, an amended resolution will need to be provided to the board to vote on and read. Right, Jamie?
If you're going to modify, yeah, well, since we don't have a jail, and you're relabeling these people as transport officers or jailers or whatever, if you're going to modify that number, you're going to have to do something to create or eliminate positions.
Or the one,
Because right now you have, how many, right now still on the books, you still have,
15.
you still have on the books a jail administrator and
Yes.
employees, which you're going to, I would assume, change. Right now, you're still utilizing some of those employees as transport officers,
Correct.
but somewhere down the road, you're gonna have to change that, what their wages are and things like that.
That's why we didn't try to do all that. I thought it was under two separate resolutions, but
Well, wouldn't that still be correct, though, if you're gonna do the motion to revise the resolution?
Well, the one thing is have you, last meeting, my understanding was you created 6 full-time and 2 part-time transport officer positions. So those people are already in those spots. So now you want to eliminate the jail positions from the resolution. I think you're okay.
I guess my question, doesn't the resolution have to spell out that these are, instead of jail employees,
We just have to make a new resolution.
make a new resolution, so you have the sheriff's department and your transport employees, which we created 6 of them.
Correct.
So I mean, the resolution needs to be revised that we currently have, because that resolution is talking sheriff's department and jail, which we don't have a jail anymore. So I think what Kevin's got in as a motion is to revise this resolution would be correct, and that we would go and revise what we currently have to make it
Match what we have.
match what we have.
Correct.
Can we do that without having it done and,
I would say
Yeah,
we should probably have a resolution presented
yeah,
on how it wants to be changed and go from there, since we don't really have anything written out on what we're going to do. And then once you have it, then you could modify the draft. I think that's it. But it would be good to have a resolution before us modifying, or a new resolution voiding the old one, making sure that we have all those positions available, and eliminating positions that are no longer on the books. And then we have to turn around and change our employee handbook and things like that, because I think that's all reflected in our handbook also, isn't it? Number of positions and things.
we don't have any transport positions in the handbook, so yeah, I would imagine you
We
guys
should
need
get
to
all
do that
that.
as well.
Modified to get everything up to speed.
Okay, well, we can do that one next meeting, but we can eliminate one position. I'll make a motion to eliminate the jail administrator position.
We've still got the motion that you made. I just, we gotta finish that. So I need a second, so if we don't get a second, that's down.
Okay, that we just won't get a second.
I had a motion on the floor, but I need a second. I need a second. Motion failed.
Okay, I'll make a motion to eliminate the jail administrator position.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Did you wanna do anything with the transfer on the budget side, Kevin?
Well, we gotta put a supplement deal and advertise it before we do that.
Somebody's gonna have to come up with how much you're supplementing. There's a lot to that.
Yeah, so we ain't gonna be able to do that today. That's gotta be advertised.
And it has to be specific in the advertisement.
Change the number of transports. The more I got to thinking about it, and after talking to Josh, right, I asked him what the schedule was, and right now they got 2 people on per shift. And I asked him if that could possibly go down. Mulbridge said they could have done it with 4 people. The other counties are doing it with 4 people. Do we really need 6? 6 full-time and 2 part-time, so that's actually 8.
I know one of the things that I thought about when we were talking about the transport deal too was, when we talked about that originally, we asked how many people you'd have to have on staff in a holding deal, and you said you had to have 2 people at all time. My question is, why is that? If you can get by transporting people to the jail with 1 person, and or you can have a person in a mental hold at the hospital and you can only have 1 person there, why do you need 2 in a holding cell?
So, part of Mr. Steve Campbell's thing that we needed to adjust was that he wants adult males and females transported separately. So we cannot transport them together to wherever they go. So it kind of makes it a little more difficult. I ran down the numbers and gave you guys them earlier based on them 6 people, about the overtime cost. I got 1 employee out with COVID right now, so I got some part-timers filling in, some extra hours. That person's off.
But do you really need 2 people to sit over there doing nothing?
I never know if it's a male or female that comes in.
I understand that, but
And for them guys to be on call, I guess I don't know, that's something that we have to talk about.
I guess that's what I was wondering, why they couldn't be just on a call situation where all of a sudden you've got.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Swimmer, would you do that? And, I mean, how would we compensate that? You know what I mean? I don't know how we could do that, keep it fair to actually keep these people employed. They're not, to be on call, they're gonna go work another job.
If they're not full-time, they're not gonna stay. The 2 part-timers that I made part-time have already got other jobs because they need to keep their hours and their income sustainable to their family.
So I guess, I mean, if there's something comparable, I don't know how we do that to make that come out, because, I mean, they're full-time benefited positions right now. And I guess, that's, soon as these things started, they were looking for other jobs already because of lack of being laid off, cut, whatever wording you want to use with that. They were looking for other jobs because, obviously the part-time stuff and being on call isn't gonna work that well. I don't know how we do it. I know hospital staff, they get $2 or $3 an hour for on-call, lab techs and stuff, but they're still full-time employees, but they're still considered to be on call. You know what I mean? We're doing the same thing here, but there's no on-call time. They could go all weekend and not have, the x-ray tech not be needed, but they have to have someone available and accountable to come in and take care of things. So I mean, it's same kind of scenario here. I'm still gonna need those people available. And how do we keep them available?
So every shift you're gonna have a male and female on.
That's what we're trying to do, yes. And if we have a female right now, we're putting 1 on call, and it's just worked with, I mean, they're not getting any rate for being on call. If I don't use them over a weekend, I don't use them, but then they're also being paid to be available, whatever that set amount would be, if we did it that way. But like I said, the part-timers, yes, they've got other jobs. So I mean, it depends on who's available and if they can do it.
Okay.
On the sheriff's side, there's 3 of us. Yes, there's 2 part-timers, but, vacation and sick leave, but they both work full-time, and 1 can essentially only work weekends, 1 possibly during the week. It depends on what he's got. It's the 1 part-time is a game warden, and the other one is Don Connect. He's full-time up at the school. And I can only utilize him on weekends most of the time unless there's a holiday. He's picking up a holiday because Travis is gone on vacation, or will be. So I mean, there's 3 people essentially that are full-time, and I need to do my best and do my due diligence to keep the law enforcement in this county and not go without. I will not do that. I mean, that's plumb ridiculous, and it would be irresponsible of me to doing that.
they've never said not to do that.
No, I'm not saying that. It's just all for clarification.
Well, we'll discuss that later too. I guess the only other thing I really got on here is the North Central Regional Jail board members would like to make a change two of the members on there. Talking to Lyle Perman, he would rather have Marion stay on instead of him being, Marion knows all the numbers and everything that we've been doing up to this point. He said it would take a long time to get him caught back up to where Marion's at now, so I would like to make a motion to have Marion on as a jail board member and replace Lyle Perman.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion on that? Just do it like that, Jamie? Is that, I guess.
Do you have any other commissioners on your board? Just those two, right? Just you and Marion for the time being?
He won't, Marion won't.
Right, you'll go off. As long as you don't have a quorum of commissioners, you're okay, I believe, so. Pardon?
They would be fine.
The main thing is you don't want to have a quorum of commissioners for a board meeting, but then we'd have to go through the publication and all that stuff, so.
Anything else? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Do you want to give a quick update, Kevin?
Next meeting is the 12th, and they're still waiting to hear back from the Governor Noam's office, trying to get, see if we could possibly get the Attorney General's office to help with the compact agreement between the 6 counties. But we're having difficulty communicating anything with the state right now, so. Still waiting to hear back on some stuff there. But that's the first step that we're gonna have to do is get that compact agreement done so we can get an account set up. We do have a deal from Foots Construction that they will come in and go over the building, take a look at that and give us preliminary stuff, see if it'll work. That cost is $10,000, could be up to $16,000, but we gotta get that compact drawn up first.
Up to 1,600, and then, was it 1,500 per meeting, or there was a separate one in there for travel?
It was like $1,500 for.
I guess I got one question on that whole thing. Is there, I mean, I know that they're all, other counties are saying that, is there something that they should be, whether it's a resolution or whatever, I don't know which word I'm looking for, Jamie, that's saying, yes, we are moving forward this, and not, I mean, there's just nothing there, it's just almost like a gentleman's shake.
You're correct. You're absolutely right.
Well, there should be something from the other counties to.
So this compact is for everybody to
That's what
sign.
that will be for, is,
Just to make sure
Okay.
everybody signed that deal to agree under the
okay,
term.
oh, okay.
I mean, that's the only way we figured that we
They'd
could
do
do
it
it,
all
is
that
have
before.
some type of an agreement where it was, these other county members would sign on to it.
Okay.
He's got to be told.
You got nothing else under jail then?
No. Thank you.
All right, we'll run down to 27, the 2020 general election canvas.
Do you all remember what you need to do?
No.
So basically, roll this. You need to confirm that the numbers printed out on here are that correct for whatever precinct you're doing. This, like this one's number 4. So you'll find precinct 4 on your list here, and confirm that the numbers on the list that printed out of the machines match what we're entering to the computer. And then you'll want to see if the poll workers have the correct amount of voters compared to how many ballots were put into the machines.
Do we have to sign these anyplace or just?
No,
do
you
that?
sign up one form, you all sign at the end. While they're doing that, Dwayne, I contacted the guy that handles our website, and he wasn't aware it was doing that, and he said that he corrected it, and he said thank you for informing him.
Is that what it is down here? We should do that now. Is this? Let's see.
Precinct, do you have the right precinct here, or? Right, precinct 10, is that what you have here? Yeah, precinct 10, and what is this? Oh, yeah, those are mixed, so.
Okay,
There you go, that might make more sense.
About 431 people.
If it's 5 or less, you just move on. They could have, I don't know. We don't know, like right here. Yeah. Yep. If it's like to see it says 5 or less, move on. So,
We're supposed to go through every one individual department, or just total votes?
no, well, you just have to confirm that for like your meeting or yeah, 3 so you don't worry about the overvotes or undervotes. Just enough for each person. That's not supposed to be in there. But we can't open these until you guys get them, so. Yeah, so you print out a lot, so you can define precinct 4. There you go, precinct 4 is right there.
Yeah, everyone should sign before they leave. Have Marcy has it.
Yeah, this too.
And then there's also a stipulation, that needs to be notarized. So I just gave that to Marcy, so I'll sign that.
She's got them ready for each of
Yep.
you. should be a motion of some sort.
Yeah, this is your canvas.
Yep,
Yeah, I would just read it. Want me to read it?
and then somebody make a motion on it.
Is everyone done with their canvas yet? Or I think there's still people canvassing.
How many you have to be with that?
I think 5.
So then you have a certificate of canvas. State of South Dakota, County of Walworth, we, Scott Schilling, Jim Hauk, Marion Schlomer, Davis Martin, Kevin Holgard, the County Board of Canvassers in Walworth County for the general election held on November 3rd, 2020, hereby certify that the foregoing is a true abstract of the votes cast in the jurisdiction of Walworth County, South Dakota at the election as shown by the return certified to the person in charge of the election. There's blanks for signatures for all commissioners and then attest by the Walworth County auditor. So you need a motion to approve that.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Thanks.
Any old business?
Marcy's gonna get your signature real quick, Commissioner Schlomer, before you
Okay.
on that other deal.
Do you have any old business, Jamie? New business?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second. Got a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I signed the date.
Here, I can,
Stop or
oh, I'll mark it as your signature.
interest.
I think you might have one more thing to say.